Council budget meeting back to order at 9:58. And Councilor LaBranch has something he'd like to say before we continue.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. A couple of the Budget Committee members that are here had requested that when we do an individual section of the budget, that we let them know what the bottom line number is, because they do not have the updated ones, and I'm wondering if it's okay with you if I can give them the ones that we've already approved for the bottom line numbers.
Actually, we're gonna be getting, after you guys get done, we're gonna have.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're going to get them.
On
Rather than give them by section
You got it?
section.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
You all set? And if you folks out there in the Budget Committee have questions, certainly raise your hand. I'll acknowledge you, absolutely. Not Councilor LaBranch, but you folks I would. All right,
Okay.
moving forward.
I'll stay out of the line of fire.
Okay, where were we?
Still in front of us.
We're still on the where?
Employee benefits?
Employee benefits, yes, that's
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Wait,
Yep.
for
Want to go to
longevity.
town clerk?
Want to go to town clerk?
Yeah, because we're waiting for the longevity thing, so, aren't we?
We just defer the
Yeah.
employee benefits until
Can we
Carol
get
gets back.
that?
Yeah.
I've gone too
Okay,
far
let's
ahead
do it.
here, I guess. All right, so what you folks decide? I'm trying to find my
Town clerk.
spot here. Town
We're
clerk?
going to town clerk.
Well, let's skip her, she's in the audience. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. Okay, town clerk. Comments, suggestions? Wow. Councilor LaBranch?
A couple of items that I noticed had changed from the previous document that we had. The postage rate has gone down. It was at, I believe, 88, and now it's at 79.30. Is there a reason why we cut that down? May I speak?
As you recall, during the discussions we had with the budget and the town council, that Becky had made some suggestions as to where we could cut. Those we incorporated in Ed's budget.
Okay.
And the departments have reviewed all this, so they're in agreement with it.
And more specifically, if my recollection is correct, Becky's able to put several notices to, like, the same individual into an envelope, I think as it relates to car registrations, if I'm correct. So therefore, she's saving some postage there.
Okay, and the general supply line went down.
Yeah, correct. There was forms that were purchased, am I correct on that, in bulk? And so therefore, there wasn't a need to put additional funds in for that.
Actually, do you mind if I just jump in?
Jump in?
I think, Mike, when I came and presented the budget, you are going to be arriving shortly after. I was first thing on the agenda, and so you didn't have the benefit of it. We implemented a whole new motor vehicle way of sending out our courtesy notices, and so rather than sending out one for every vehicle on forms, we now have the ability to print in letter that lists everybody's motor vehicles on one letter, which resulted in significant savings for forms and for postage. That's why that was reduced.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm all set then.
Has anyone taken into consideration the postage increase is not going to be a penny? They're estimating 2 cents. And the, I'm not sure if you folks probably, the planning office and the code enforcement office, the certified rate is going to jump also substantially, I guess, this year, so.
We bought eternity stamps and
Pardon?
we bought eternity stamps, so we don't have
Oh,
to,
for rubber stamps?
Yeah. Tell me how you got that on the meter. Okay, so just be aware that that increase is coming, that looks like on May 12th, somewhere in that area. Okay, Councilor Quox?
So basically, it's about 18,000 extra in this budget as opposed to the 08 actuals.
no, the budget's actually down by $1,000 from the current year, which the current year is 161,000 and change, and what Ms. Benvenuti, as recommended tonight, am recommending is $160,000 for her budget.
Okay, but the actuals last year were 142?
Year before, yes.
So we're up from last year to this year by 18,000.
Yep.
And what's reflected in that 18,000? I see some things for equipment.
Mostly.
Well, part of it is that, well, no, that would be in this curve here.
The equipment is the machine that's used by the water sewer department and payroll and the tax bills. We were not sharing in the maintenance of that. Our office, through the budget processing, wasn't, and we do use it, so now that's
Becky,
being
would you
allocated.
come up to the microphone so the public can see you? I really want to put you on the hot seat.
You don't want to see me.
Thank you, Becky.
You want me to repeat what I said?
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay. The equipment, the difference in the equipment maintenance is a result of the machine that's used by the water sewer department, payroll department, and sending out tax bills. And our office wasn't previously sharing in the maintenance and the contract of that machine, and that has been spread. So we're participating in that now.
Yeah, so, but what does that portion come to? Is that a large amount?
No, not in the big picture, it certainly isn't a large amount. I have lots of spreadsheets.
Maybe to help with Councilor Cox's question, I think that she's comparing actuals of '08 to what we're recommending for '09. And perhaps Becky can let me know what the difference is in the part-time salaries, because the actuals in '08 were only $325.
Yeah, I'm looking at that too.
As
Yeah.
opposed to 28,000 requested for this.
The salaries were, we have a part-time person in our office, and the part-time salaries were going to a full-time line item, and that's been corrected, I believe, as of January. Is that right, John?
Yes.
That's where that comes, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
You have one part-time person?
Yes, in my budget. I have another part-time person that's in the office that her is half paid by water, water and sewer, and she also works in my office.
So you only have 2 full-time employees?
Yes. 2 full-time, 1 part-time in the budget.
And does 2 full-time include you?
Yes, it does.
Oh, good.
We work very hard.
Yeah.
Councilor
That's for sure.
LeBranch?
I'm all set.
You all set? Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Any other questions? Okay. I will entertain a motion to accept the town clerk's tax collector's budget as recommended by the town administrator.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Any further discussion on that? Roll call, please.
Council Cox?
Aye.
Council Bergeron?
Aye.
Council LeBranch?
Aye.
Council Minutелli?
Aye.
Council Carr?
Aye.
Chairman Glennon?
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. The next one is code enforcement. There apparently were some omissions in the previous printout. I don't know if there were omissions or whether it just didn't print for whatever the reasons were. But council should be looking at adding in here $200 for a, I guess I refer to it as a still camera.
Yes, please.
And Mr. Vincent, please take the podium.
Thank you, sir. Would you like me to review the request for the increase?
Yes, please.
As, at the present time, there's a $1,000 that's been allotted for the code and training, and I would respectfully request that be increased to $2,000. That the equipment and maintenance printed 0 at that location. Also, if that could be posted at $200. Lab testing was posted at $50, if that could be listed at $200. And also the requirement for new code books at $1,500, which is complying with the state law for code enforcement.
That would go into dues and subscriptions?
Dues and subscriptions is,
Where would that go?
oh, for the code books?
Yeah.
It could, yes, I would say it could be added there, please.
So add 1,500 to the 500?
Yes.
Who gets these code books?
He does.
I do.
No. I'm sure you're not going to receive $1,500 worth of them, but who gets them in the stream of people? I know the planning board gets
He does.
I do.
It costs a lot.
Solely,
They cost.
Oh, you only?
yes.
Oh, I'm referring to the RSA books. Where does that come from?
The RSA is received, and I'm...
Diane's budget.
In your budget?
Diane's
Oh, okay,
budget.
so this is different.
These are codes. The
This
chi-
is inclusive of
Codes.
electrical, plumbing, building, commercial construction.
Based on the international code?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay, all right, and that was not in there. Okay, cool. Do you have a total figure of what that budget should be at this point?
Away from wages, it would be $9,300 plus wages.
So we're going to add $9,300 to the $80,131.44? Is that correct?
What?
You get.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm
24
looking at
cents.
the wrong one. I'm actually should be looking at this one, code enforcement. 83, yeah, the anticipated budget.
83,645.
645 plus
Oh, yeah,
3,900.
see, I was
isn't it?
looking at the
Isn't that what
wrong
you
one
said?
over here.
Plus how
Okay.
much extra?
Plus 93.
Well, the 93 would be the $6,600 that is in the budget at this time, so it'd actually be an increase of
39.
$2,700.
No, I got
39.
2,900.
29? I can't add.
1,500 for training.
It's an increase, Steve, of 2,900 on the
I guess.
80.
I thought it was 39.
1,000.
I had $1,500 in code books, $200 for equipment and maintenance, and $1,000 for training.
That's 27.
Oh, I'm sorry.
1,000 on top of the 1,000?
Yes.
Yeah, so 2,000.
And then 200 for lab testing, you said, right?
Yeah, you said 200 for lab testing, too.
Yes.
2850.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, what does that get added to?
Bottom line.
Bottom line of
83.
83,645.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Hey, what was the second one again, Dan?
We have code books, equipment and maintenance,
How much are dues and, code books and dues and subscriptions, how much?
15, it'd be a total of 2,000.
So I have
So
86.
2,000 for training, 2,000 for dues and subscriptions, equipment maintenance, 200?
Yes.
Yeah, a different
And code under lab testing, 200.
Okay.
So it's 86,495.
Mr. Winalski?
Dan, are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I guess I just want to respond. When I put this budget together, I looked at what has been expended in the prior years, and I look at something like lab costs. We haven't expended anything at all. So rather than keeping it at 200, I dropped it down to $50. If we need to, as with anything, we work within our budgets that we have, and we have additional costs. So I think $50 was reasonable. Dan, do we buy code books every single year?
Every 3 years.
Every 3 years. So we haven't, when was the last time that we purchased code books?
2,000.
If I go back to fiscal year '07, which would have been the last year, you probably would have purchased books.
06
There's been no
was-
books purchased at all.
06 would have been the last round. Every 3 years.
So that's being the third year,
Okay.
09, yeah.
And then I'll just go back to what I said about out-of-state travel. I guess, and I heard what Dan said about the code changes and the life safety codes, but, I asked the question of this: how many changes occur from one year to the next? And you know something? I think that within the organization that Dan belongs to, the building officials, they can supply their membership an overview of all the changes that take place. And I really, if we're getting new books, then it'll be easy to take a look at what those changes are. But, you know, I mean, I cut the town administrators out of state travel, I cut the planners out of state travel, and I cut Dan's. You know, for 1 year, it doesn't kill us. Dan went last year, he went the year before. Diane was supposed to go this year because we talked about doing every other year, but she hasn't gone, I haven't gone. So I just think it's a little way to save money in a budget that, you know, when you look at building and code enforcement in the town, when you look at building permits, we're substantially down than we have been in years, and I think we need to sort of tighten our belt here.
Yeah, but that shouldn't negate the fact that you still need to train. How many pages are in that book or manual?
There's probably going to be 5,000 changes within the codes this year.
And what are you basing that on?
On the printed books that are available now under the National Electrical Code.
All right.
And what is becoming more popular certainly is green construction. And certainly that is something that is very new to any code official. But more so than that, we're talking about the public safety and welfare of this community. And I think to put a number on that is difficult to do. And if we only want to give $1,000 of money for training, I think that we're, I would say that I wouldn't be complying with the need for this community's life safety issues. And I think that training is very important for that because the technology changes constantly.
The reason why I wanted it back in there was because I do equate to a degree, maybe not as higher a degree, but there is a degree factor here, is your position, knowing what those life safety codes are so you can implement them when you have to go out on site to do that, to very much as what the EMTs have to do on a yearly basis to be certified, although you don't need to be certified, do you?
I do not.
No, they have to be certified, so they have to go for this training because it is a life safety situation. And that was the reason why I wanted it to be put back into the budget for that purpose. So I just want to make that clear. Councilor Quarles.
And again, public safety and welfare is the only really issue that my department deals with. Everything is related to that. Life safety for those people who live in this community and those people that visit this community. It has to do with inspection of schools, it has to do with inspection of playgrounds, it has to do with inspection of residential housing, commercial buildings.
I think the,
Hold on.
Oh.
I want to make sure he's done. You all set?
Thank you.
I think the proper, the proper thought of...
Yes, I will acknowledge you now,
Well, you
Councilor
could. Is, I mean, like he said, he only gets the books, the changes every 3 years. So if it's important in any given year for him to go to get the reviews and for them to point it out to him at these training sessions, this would be the year because the new books are coming out. And for him to sit there by himself and try to go through all those books and all those pages. So in light of the fact, if this was the year before the new book was coming out, I might say, well, we might be able to wait a year. But if the books are coming out this year, there's that many changes in it, I think it behooves us to send him for that training instead of having him piecemeal his questions and answers. I think the time he would spend involved would more than outweigh the $2,000 to send him there if he tried to research it on his own. And this is the year the new codes come out, he should be there to do it.
That's it?
Yep.
The other part of that I will say is that I thought it was $1,000 we're putting back, but it's actually $2,000 we're putting in there, so.
We're adding 1,000 to what
Yeah.
he's got here.
1,000 to already had, okay, all right. Oops, Councilor LaBranche.
Dan, I guess my question is, with the economy the way it is, what have you seen come across your desk for new permits and constructions and things of that nature, as far as comparing it to maybe 2 years ago?
Even 2 years ago, it has started to decline. The requests for permits last year were mostly small residential projects, probably not exceeding $10,000. This year, there has not been any major permit requests.
So I guess what I'm getting at in regard to the training issue is I understand the statements that you're making, but if we seem to be in a little bit of a stale situation, you know, what is the likelihood that a lot of the information that you would gather from, for example, this class or seminar or whatever you'd call it as far as training is concerned, what advantages would the town get from that at this particular point in time?
The advantage, I guess, is keeping current with the latest changes, and to miss the opportunity to become current with those changes the following year, it could be complicated in understanding why the changes were actually made. As far as the implication of the codes themselves go, they would apply to those projects that were considered to be new construction. So I think what you're asking is, why learn about what should be applied if there aren't going to be any permits requiring that knowledge to be applied to it?
In a nutshell, yes.
So if the code changes again, I guess I'd just be missing that opportunity in the middle to keep current.
But would the code books that you're requesting we purchase for you this time around, would that in fact basically mirror the information that you would get at these seminars?
You certainly would, yeah. And the code books, the pages in the code books, we're talking about the plumbing, mechanical, the energy code, residential building code, commercial building code, the national electrical code. As a health officer, there's certainly numerous health issues that are constantly changing with triple-E disease, West Nile virus, any pandemics that could become a reality. And there's training also involved there with the state.
Thank you, Dan.
Welcome.
Dan, where is this training taking place?
This coming year, I believe it's in Baltimore, Maryland. Last year was in Las Vegas, Nevada, which I did not attend, and the previous year was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which I did attend.
Okay. Councilor Birchwood?
Are any of these updates, are they available online? Is it something that you could,
No, it's all copyrighted.
I know I can update my license by doing an online course every 3 years. I just didn't know if that was the same for you.
It is not.
Okay.
One of the thoughts I have here is, even though the economy is bad, and we know that, we don't know, as what Mr. Winalski said, we don't know what the future is going to be, but however, we got a kind of picture of what it might look like. I'm wondering where we are in that lull time, if it would not be worth the extra $1,000 to put in there to get you trained where it is a slower time versus when we're full speed ahead and trying to keep up with the things that are going on. I think, in my opinion, this is a golden opportunity to that $1,000 well spent to get you up to speed while it is at a slow period versus when a couple of years ago when there were permits and we were pulling in all kinds of money. And the other part of this, your budget is not contingent on what you pull in for revenues. Your revenues coming in are going right into the general fund.
Correct.
So if it was a self-supporting budget and you had to prove the monies you took in, to a degree you should, but I mean, it's not all part of that. So I just think, and this is my opinion, it is well spent to keep our employees up to date. And I would love to be able to send everybody, but you can't do that. So you got to look and see where's it going to have the most impact. And I think we didn't go last year. It comes out every 3 years. This is the year it comes out. It's about X number of pages you indicated. This is the time, I believe, to send an individual for that purpose. And that's, I will now, on that one item, I'll entertain a motion on that at this point, unless somebody has something different, or if you want to accept the budget as requested at, what was the total amount?
$86,495. So moved.
That is a motion?
Does that include the 2,000?
That includes all increases. That makes the code and training from 1,000 to 2,000. It increases the code dues and subscriptions from 500 to 2,000. It increases the code equipment maintenance from 0 to 200, and it increases the code lab testing from $50 to $200 for a total of $2,850 plus. If you add that to the 83645, it's a total of $86,495.
Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Counselor LaBranche?
I'm going to vote no on this, and I guess the reason I'm going to vote no is I would prefer that we choose either the books this year or the travel this year. And then whatever we didn't do this year, we would pretty much set up for next year. So that's the reason I'm going to vote against this.
So how do you, I'm confused, how do you vote either the book or the travel when they're one and the same? I mean, you go to the conference, you're going to have the book in advance, so you can look and ask the questions that you may want to have at the conference versus just having the book and trying to go through all those, how many pages did you say?
The
5,000?
total number of all of the pages in the books probably certainly total 5,000 plus.
He
Okay.
said he has to buy the books anyway.
The state law requires that the state building code be complied with.
Oh, so that's a no-brainer, so we do have,
For the
So we buy the books and we do the training next year. That's basically what I would recommend, but the motion's on the floor, so if we take a vote, that's why I will vote no.
would you take a friendly amendment?
No.
Well, you're going to lose.
Well, it's a matter of, you want to get the books but not do the course, so it's like sending a college kid to school without any books. And I mean, for an extra $1,000.
But he's not bringing the books with him to wherever he's going to be going, to Baltimore.
How do you know
Okay.
that?
That's afterwards. So,
That's after he gets the books?
I'm assuming,
The educational program is relevant to the publications.
Of the books.
Which would be
but
for the
but
2009
when do you get the books?
The books are available March,
Okay.
When's the conference?
September.
So he's going to have a couple months, well, he's going to have 6 months, where he's going to be able to peruse the books to see what the changes, and having not seen the books, I'm assuming that there's going to be probably some information relative to what the changes are that are different from the last time.
Well, that's the question I have. Will there be indicating in the book what changes, like highlight, you know how we do changes here, we
Yeah.
say put it in italicize it or bold it? or
The
whatever?
electrical code does that, but the ICC codes do not.
I still have the floor.
No, you don't. I don't really.
I was answering a question for me. I'm not done asking.
Go ahead.
So the conference is in March, and the books come out in September?
The other way around,
Oh, okay, books
March.
this March, and the conference is in September.
Correct.
And when do you have to start complying with the new codes?
Would be January,
Of next year?
yes.
Gentlemen?
If the books come out in March, that's in this year's budget, that's not next year's budget. If you buy them in March, that's already gonna be in the budget you're talking about.
That is correct. Good point.
True. Good point.
I was going to say.
it
So
should be
we're only
money in this
adding
year's budget for
$1,000.
it, or-
The, Don, help me with that one. Is there currently money in this budget coming up
Should have been.
budget?
for the budget that we're in now, this budget cycle?
Not unless you put it in last year.
Yeah. You only put $500 in last year.
That was for codes and, we're putting it into that category now under codes and, under
Code and
Subscriptions.
subscriptions.
descriptions.
Dan, I'll answer your question. On the general supplies, you've got a budget of $2,000. You've only spent $500, so there's $1,500 available in there to buy them out of this year's budget.
That's probably where it got put.
And postage, you spent $80, the budget was $300.
Mhm.
Yep, $350 for this current year. Dues and subscriptions, you spent $89, you budgeted $500. Telephone, you budgeted $1440 for this current year, you've only spent $470. And then there's $200 in lab testing, that you haven't spent anything.
Mhm.
So you could spend it within this current year budget.
Okay. So actually, then the request at this time would be $86,495 minus the $1,500.
Minus 15.
So all we really need to add is the lab, which I'm inclined to agree with the town administrator to reduce that to a smaller amount. And the other part would be the camera,
Yes,
and would be $1,000 for travel.
Yes.
I don't think that's excessive.
I call the question.
Call the question?
Yeah, but we need to vote on this, this motion before we get off on other things.
Okay.
Okay.
I have lights lit up. Is this
Should
all
should I
related?
just, should I just withdraw my,
I am too.
That
Eric
brought me
Butterman
up.
brought it
How
up.
can
I
Mike
was gonna ask.
Pulaski's light be on when he's not even here?
Oh.
He's got a question.
so I- with the new numbers,
Is he on the teleconference somewhere that I don't see it?
with the new numbers, Mr. Chair, should I just withdraw my motion?
You can.
I'll withdraw my motion,
I'll withdraw the second,
and we need new numbers.
and I'll withdraw the call the question.
So it was 86,495 with the increases. Yeah, we're taking 1,500 off that?
Mhm.
And that gives us 84,995, is that right?
Don, when are you coming up
Is
with?
that right?
I'm looking
I'm gonna
to,
wait till you're all done with your adjustments.
no, I'm looking at you for the total figure here.
Mr. Chairman, just for a little clarification, as far as lab and testing goes, the request for the $200 is only there in the event that lab testing is required. The lab testing is not a procedure that is customary to my department to do. For some reason, it could come up whether it might be lead paint poisoning, or if there's an issue with water that's within this community, and one of the residents has an issue that comes before my jurisdiction. Otherwise, the jurisdiction primarily lies with water and sewer.
Be Sean, wouldn't it?
It would be, but on occasion, where it's a private well and not a public water supply, it might be a question of my department for that lab and testing.
Okay.
As far as the equipment and maintenance goes, certainly, we know that the camera is defective at this time. I guess that'd be my final comment.
All right, what do we have for a total figure?
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
I mean, Danny, you're saying that you've got a critical need for a camera.
Yes.
Why don't you buy it out of this year's budget?
It sounds like you've got
Instead of
money
waiting
for
until
it.
July.
Uh-huh.
Because you've got general supplies in there. You want to spend $500 so far.
I can do that. I guess when I see general supplies, I wouldn't think that equipment would be in that category, but I'm fine with,
You can move within your own budget of taking funds from one line item to another, within your budget.
you know,
All right, so that we know. I'm going to register a concern here. I'm not happy as the chair sitting here going through this process. This should have been done prior to getting to this level. So my recommendation is the parties that need to get together and do it
but,
before
and,
you get here.
But,
Mr. Chairman, I was out.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to that, I did that. You know something, I made changes to this budget based upon what I'm looking at, and if Mr. Vincent needs $200 for lab testing, I have contingencies, I'll take care of that. But when I see nothing being spent over a number
Right, I
of years,
understand that. I'm not criticizing you directly, or him, or her, or anybody else. I'm just saying,
It should have been, I know.
have a talk before you come to us.
Well, we did do that. Mr. Winowski and Mr. Parnell and I met. We discussed the budget. I was out sick for a week, and that opportunity was an email to my office indicating that if there was any concerns, that we should have that discussion. I was not here for that week. And on the 28th, I brought it to the financial director's attention, and at that time, all the paperwork had been submitted to the council.
All right, so at this point, the increase that I see is only $1,000?
$11.50, I think. Correct.
84,795.
Are we going to go, the council want to do that line item on the $50 for the lab, reduce that to 50 or keep it at 200? Let's take that. Or do you want to just, what's the total figure, Mr. Pennell, for the whole shebang here for this budget? Do you want to vote it that way?
We've
84.
taken the $200 out for the camera, and we've added $150 in for lab testing and $1,000 in for training. Is that correct? So I've got 84,795.
84,795? Okay.
And then the replacement of the existing camera as well as the code books will be taken from the existing budget.
Correct. Okay, Counselor Quox.
And I have a question as to why wasn't all this discussed prior to, explain to Mr. Vincent that he could do that instead of coming here and asking for this extra money?
Let's not go there.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve the code enforcement budget to $84,795.
Second.
Okay, and we, Mr. Donowski, your light is on, and Counselor,
I'm-
you all set, Counselor LaBranche? You're all set, okay. We have a motion on the floor to accept the code enforcement's budget as amended from the town administrator's original to $84,795. Do we have any further discussion on that?
Which is only an $1,150
Which is an increase, $1,150 increase, that's right, okay. Roll call, please.
Counselor Quox.
Aye.
Counselor Bergeron.
Aye.
Counselor LaBranche.
Aye.
Counselor Minutелli.
Aye.
Counselor Carr.
Aye.
Chairman Glennon.
Aye. We spent 25 minutes on that one.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're going back to employees' benefits.
Yeah, let's go back to the employee benefit, so we can rule on that one. Where is it? Here it is. For that. And Carol, thank you very much for going upstairs and doing that. General ledger account number is not the socials, I hope.
It is not.
No.
It looks like it, you know?
It is not. Just a quick, you've got a total of 30 employees that receive longevity. 23 of those are union employees, and 7 are non-union. So if you were to make a suggestion to change longevity in any form, you're affecting 7 out of 30 employees.
This
What,
does-
what,
Total.
This
what's the
doesn't give us a
total?
total, yeah. I want to know the total.
Oh, okay. In a minute. Want to?
Yeah, I'll just go, yeah.
And do part-timers get longevity?
No.
Well, I see one that's a part-timer. Well, I'm not going to say the employee's name publicly.
I had to cut and paste this from a payroll, so.
It's the same
Oh,
name.
okay.
Okay.
We'll just verify that.
That's police.
That's, yeah, that's right there, please.
It's not.
Is that his son?
You know who I was thinking of was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad every year. Not bad every year.
No? Well, that's what it says down here. 15th to 20th year.
Yep.
Only affects 7 of them. What difference does it make?
Did you put this in too?
Yeah.
We'll just-
Can we go total it?
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll get to the totals on that.
I have
When is
40/50.
this given out, by the way?
Don?
When is this given out?
January, I believe.
Every January?
This is one of those things that was given out through accounts payable before.
Yeah.
So now it's added to the pay where it should be.
11,925.
Yeah, all total, but
You got-
the number that he talked about, I come up with $4,050.
7 people.
Yeah.
That are
What was
not,
it?
not union.
Yeah. The others,
Not-
you have to give it to the
I
union.
have a total of 9 people, and it is $4,050.
So if
9
we're going
people,
to
okay.
wipe this out, we're wiping it out for 7 people.
That wasn't the reason I really wanted. I just
No,
wanted
you
to
wanted to
know
see
what
it.
the bottom line was, what the total number was.
Which really should have been included in the budget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That is a
definitely.
cost factor.
And we should have
yeah.
known where it's put, too.
Who were we missing?
And what did you get, 4,000?
$4,050.
I'm sorry?
I was talking to
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah, he stepped up.
And
on
that's
it.
on 9 non-union members.
Correct.
Oh,
Seven.
I'm sorry.
7. Okay.
Okay, let's go back to Councilor Branch has a question.
Yeah, and maybe somebody mentioned, it, I'm not sure, but where in the budget is this?
That's what I've
It's
been
not in
asking.
budget.
It's not in the budget.
Well, it is, but it's not been printed out to us.
It's not like one line item, it gets added to the salaries.
So it is in the budget as we speak.
As
These
said.
dollars are actually sitting in the budget in one way, shape, or form.
Is the salary? In the salary portion of the
The
employees?
line that's 101 is a full-time salary.
So it's in line 101 under full-time salaries.
Right, but you won't see it for people that are in Public Works. It'll be in the police union, the police line. You won't see it in the Public Works line because that's negotiated.
It will be in the police line, it won't be in Public Works.
Not yet.
The police is really the only one who has any type of increase already included in it.
Okay.
And that's back in,
And department heads get this as well? Salaried employees get this?
if they're here for a period of time, yeah.
Okay, well, so,
Yeah.
Councilor LaBranche, I got a question, see if I can
Just check those.
Well,
pick your brain here for a minute. In the previous budgets, that was a line item, longevity. And I guess I'd like to see it come back in as a line item on the budget, and not be inclusive to the salaries, because it really doesn't give us a clear picture.
I think you're correct in what you're saying, but in reality, it is, I mean, this should be given to the council along with their budget book, so that they know that that's
Yeah.
part of the
That's why
salaries.
I'm
I don't know
looking
that
at it as a
necessarily
line.
needs to be a separate line item, and was it under recruitment? What did we have it under
It
before?
was a separate line item in the past, I know that, and I would like to see it
We can
back.
do that now.
Yeah, yeah.
What, in employee benefits, we can take this money and put it into employee benefits line under longevity.
My major question is, if this is accepted as is, this does not affect the bottom line.
No.
Okay, that's, is that correct, Don?
Shouldn't?
This does not affect the bottom line if accepted the way it is.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thank you.
And I want to make a correction, Ed. I went down and counted by department, and didn't look at the names. There should be 9 non-union employees.
And also Diane Hardy is not listed on here.
She doesn't,
She doesn't get it. I don't get it either.
Longevity.
yeah, she doesn't meet the,
It's 5 to
Time
10
frame.
years. If you look at the bottom, it shows.
Oh, okay.
Shows at the bottom.
Okay,
Yeah, and at the 9th year, she has to pay us.
okay. All right.
All right.
But we can certainly take this money and put it to a separate line. That's,
Yeah, I just want to see it in there as a separate, because that's a lot of money, 11,000 some odd dollars, just plug it into a salary area.
So we know,
Or a benefit area. I guess if you put it in benefit, or even put it in salary, drop a line down that says 11,000 of that is for longevity.
we can, if that's what you decide you'd like to see, we can certainly do that.
Council agreeable to that? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, can we do that, please? Thank you. So what did you want to do with this? We were waiting for it.
I just wanted to see the dollar amount as compared to what they're getting in addition to, say, the $2,000 for the merit increase that would be, and what that would come to. It's not as bad as I thought it was, but I still feel that the 50,000 should be eliminated for this year.
Okay, that's what you were doing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll wait for Councilor LaBranche to come back before we take a vote on that one.
What I will do when we're meeting Wednesday on the budget again,
Yep.
we'll update your budget based on the changes you made today.
Okay.
And we'll take care of that in the process.
Is there a way, when you do that, that you can bold it, italicize it, so we can just go to that area rather than trying to, we know where the changes were made?
Just bold it in Excel.
Yeah, but this isn't,
Well, that's in Excel.
this isn't Excel.
Oh, it isn't?
No,
No.
you cannot do that.
Is this Unismart?
Yes.
Yeah, they won't let you do that. There's a thought to ask them to plug in for
They will do anything for a price.
Yeah, I know.
And then they will give it to everybody free once we pay for it.
Oh, really?
We need somebody else to ask for it.
Councilor Branch, while you walked out, I asked Councilor Quox where she wanted to go with this. She was just using that information as a FYI to herself. So we need to take a vote now on the recommended budget of the employee benefit.
No, we're gonna do this-
We're going to
$1,332,635.
change the incentive program.
Yeah,
I
you
reduced
said-
it by
We did that,
$5,000.
but I thought we were going to do a vote, we're waiting for this to do a vote in the $50,000.
Right, that's exactly it. Exactly it. So you want to
No,
eliminate...
we did a vote.
voted on the
to accept it.
Oh, we did, that's right, we did do a vote to accept that.
50 is,
Exactly.
is not a negotiable item at this point.
It's 50,
You're right.
it was a 42 vote.
Yeah.
Yep,
So it's just the 5,000
and
off.
Chair voted against
Against
it.
Down 50,000?
Yep.
yeah, we did, yeah,
Right before the break, right before the break.
right.
So it's only 5,000 down.
The 5,000 down, and the bottom line at this point I have is $1,332,635. That's what the motion would be on.
And you've reduced 256,780. And you started at 252,930.
Don't mess it up.
For the whole budget.
Are you two in agreement?
Yep.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay, because I wasn't sure where the eyes were going there. Okay.
No, that's
Eyes
fine.
will always have it.
Okay, this is true. So we don't need to do any further. We went to Code Enforcement Direct
You just
Assistant.
need to adopt.
We haven't
Oh,
adopted
we
this
haven't
one.
adopted this one. Okay, that's where I was going initially. I need a motion to adopt with the revisions in the employee benefit as amended by the council.
What's the last bottom number?
$1,332,635. Am I right on that?
You only cut one line, right?
No, 575.
Okay.
575.
575 instead of 635.
1,332,575.
Did I get a motion?
Make a motion to adopt the, what are we on?
The employee
Employee
benefits.
benefit, as discussed by the council, with the $5,000 reduction in the employee incentive program.
Second.
And just for clarification, that reduction of 5,000 leaves a $2,000 balance.
Correct.
Thank you. No further discussion, roll call, please.
Council Quox?
Nay.
Councilor Bergeron?
Aye.
Councilor Branch?
Aye.
Councilman Utelli?
Aye.
Council Carr?
Aye.
Chair McGlennon?
Nay. Okay, we're going to direct assistance.
Town clerk tax.
We did everything in between, right?
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
one direct assistance.
Okay. Direct assistance. I see no lights. Councilor Quox?
Mr. Winowski, how much in the actuals to date, the almost $39,000 in direct assistance for rent, what proportion do we have on private homeowners that we have a lien on their property? What's the dollar amount on that?
Couldn't tell you that. I don't have that breakdown from her.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you'd have to ask for in advance to get research
Yeah.
on that, I would think.
I mean, if there's something specific like that, we can pull that, because
Does
she
she have
can.
that? Is that coming from?
Yeah, she has that, yes.
Okay. Councilor LeBranch?
Seeing where I don't believe there's a whole lot of things we can do with this particular
Yeah.
part of the budget, I make a motion to accept the direct assistance portion of the budget as suggested by the town administrator.
Second.
Okay, second page, item 0043, direct assistance miscellaneous, $1,500, not a lot of money, but what's miscellaneous?
Doctor's appointments,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gasoline.
Yes, it's
But I thought that was covered under medical.
No. What we do is, we will provide, someone needs to get, they might use the coast, so we will
Oh,
provide
I
them
see,
some funds
okay.
for that, or put some gas in their car so they can make the appointment.
Okay. All right, we have a motion to accept the budget as recommended by the town administrator for direct assistance.
And a second. Didn't
It
you
was
second
second.
it?
And no further discussion. I'll look for
Discussion?
light. I wasn't on, so that's why I didn't say. Okay?
Just in the future, if we could have that breakdown on direct assistance for rent as
Yep.
to what we have, and I'd still like to see that,
Yeah, I
even
have a-
after the process, that dollar amount on lien on private homes for the rent portion. And hopefully be included automatically next year.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Counselor Quox.
Aye.
Counselor Bergeron.
Aye.
Counselor Branch.
Aye.
Councilman Utili.
Aye.
Counselor Carr.
Aye.
Chairman Lippert.
Aye. Okay, the assessing department. I'm not sure we can cut anything here. I do have a question. Why is it some departments have a line item for phone, and there's a cost associated with it, and other departments, such as this one, assessing, has no cost?
What happens with that is it typically gets included on the Ed's portion of the phone. It's the breakdowns of the bills. He may share a line that's part of the administrator's package of lines, so we just incorporate it there.
Okay.
It gets, you can break the stuff out to the nth degree, but
Yeah, I know, but it's coming from there,
it's
it's
not.
a lot of work.
It, is not worth it.
So it doesn't come in the billing doesn't come in by extension. In other words, if it's extension 555, you would see that on the bill as a portion to that cost, to that
Yeah,
extension.
well, you'll see all the calls that each extension makes, but then costs you get like the cost of phone service and the cost of long-distance calls.
Right.
And you'll see the calls each extension makes. You can really break this down forever,
Yeah,
but it's just how much effort you want to put into it.
yeah, it's
to-
all in the same
to
office area,
allocate-
too.
To allocate $200 to the
Okay.
assessing line, the phone.
Counselor Fox.
Now, '07 and '08 on the software, there was nothing allocated for it, and now we're up to 7,400, and now 7,900. Why that increase? Did we change that line item from somewhere else?
I think what happened is they weren't paying for the Vision, I think it was Vision software.
Right.
We had it, they never updated it.
That whole scenario?
Now we've
Okay.
brought that up, we've had to pay for licenses and, help me out, Doug, if you.
Yeah, that's
Is
fine.
that,
Okay.
is that right?
All right, fine.
All right, well, I don't, like I said, I don't see where we can make any changes really in this area. $81,320 as requested, so I will entertain a motion to accept.
83. No,
I'm
114.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I keep on looking at the wrong one here. 14. Mr. Pickering.
Thank you. While we were going over this budget, it was brought to our attention that there are many people being found that have been adding things to their property without permits and so forth. And basically, that's stealing. And it's also costing the rest of the taxpayers to pay higher taxes as a result of the lack of revenue that we're not recovering from the work that was done. I guess what I'm asking you is it possible for the council to get this on an agenda in the future? So this potentially could alter this particular budget in the future.
Penalty fees.
A penalty fee
Yep.
for not getting permits. And it was discussed that there were as much as $4 million in new assessments picked up, which, that's a fairly large number, and it's just not fair to the people that are complying.
Duly noted, Mr. Pickering.
Thank
It
you.
will be on an agenda item, probably at a workshop.
I just want to clarify one thing, that there's not $4 million of pickup because people haven't put in a permit. what we do is the way that the state now requires communities to assess properties is you take 20% of the properties on a yearly basis and you go out there and do that. So when we do pickups, we're in that 20%. It's separate from the pickup, all right? Okay, so you put an addition on your home and we go in and we look at that. And then also what we're doing is we're going in, we're verifying, and you might have changed out the bathroom or something like that. We pick up all those different pieces in that regard. And every place I've ever been, you get a lot of pickups that are doing it. In addition to the fact that, as Andy pointed out, it might take a person 2 or 3 years to finish off a project. So they might have the permit. We're just picking up. They had it at 30%, now they're at 75%, and now we are at 100%. So there's money that come in. It's not all that $4 million is because the person doesn't have a permit. There's very few people that generally don't get a permit.
Oh, correct. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, and those are, Andy will pick them up when he's doing those pickups. And those, that, as the chair said, we'd have to talk about how we'll go about that.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, because I know a couple of examples I brought to the assessor and the code enforcement officer, but not part of this budget, but we'll have that discussion.
Yep.
Okay. I believe.
Motion to accept the assessor's budget of $114,478.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Quox?
Aye.
Council Perigin?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Council Minutelli?
Aye.
Council Carr?
Aye.
Chairman Glennon?
Aye. Now, the next one, legal. Is that what we have? Legal? Yeah, legal. I had some thought process on this from a couple of counselors. Looks like the actuals for '08 were 112,000, reduced considerably for the FY '09-10 budget to $50,000.
57.
57, I'm sorry, I keep on looking at the wrong
Look at the
one.
blue.
Only because this is so hard for me to read, it's in dark. All right. No, I have 50,000. Did I change 50,000?
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I was right.
They're all done. They're done.
We can, I don't know how we would do this, actually, to be honest with you, but there's been some talk that the councilors would like to go out to bid on this. And I 100% concur with that. That's a lot of money. That we go out to bid, and I guess my question would be to the administrator and to the finance people is, how would we do that? Would we allocate $50,000 and then go out to bid and say, these are the areas we want coverage in the legal area, or how would we do this?
Well, yes, we basically, I think, we get an RFP. I'm sure there's somebody out there has gone out for legal services, put it out there, and then list what services we're looking for, which would be assessing, which would be the administration. From time to time, Becky might have a question. So, be some miscellaneous different pieces, and ask them for, what their cost per hour is to do that, and go from there.
And then we would have to tell them on the RFP not to exceed 50,000?
We could do that. We can do it on a contingency basis. But, the problem with that is if you have something turns out to be a fairly large case or something, I think that what we want to be doing is looking at what the fees are, and also try to stop picking up the phone and calling legal when we should be able to address the question, or talking with the folks at the municipal association.
The only problem I have with the municipal association, and this has got to be brought up front, I know in the past, not sitting here as chair, but in the past, have been told by previous councilor chairs, if you call LGC and you ask the question, that question will automatically be directed that a councilor had asked that question and goes back to the town administrator. So there's no confidentiality there between the chair or a councilor trying to get specific information. And that's the only problem I have. And that, I asked the question at that point to LGC attorney. That is correct. I have to now call the town administrator. And it wasn't you, it was the previous administrator with all those problems we were having. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Well, I think that the way that the local government center works is that, you know, they take it from who the council or board of selectmen have as their primary person, the town administrator, administrative assistant, as opposed to, they're not getting lots of different
Right.
calls from people. You know, and I guess the question is, you know, if the chair, if it was brought to the chair's attention to ask the question of legal, that, you know, that there was a question that you had,
Mhm.
and discussed it from there. So the council was involved in that, but, you know, they only have, while they have many attorneys there, they, you know, they have one person on and they ship it back.
Well, I'm not opposed to using them. I think they're definitely useful and they're helpful. They have shown that in the past, but it's just that little fly in the ointment. Counselor Quox?
I had asked prior to this, I believe, at our last meeting when we got to legal, I wanted a breakdown on what each department spent on legal.
Yeah,
I
and I've
haven't
been
gotten that.
plowing through that, so.
You-
Because we have some that are in other departments and.
Right, we have
and-
planning board has their
Yep.
own attorney, ZBA has their own attorney. Now, another thing, too, I mean, law offices have their own expertise. We have a certain attorney that's handling our union negotiations, a land use attorney that does planning board and ZBA. So I don't see how you can possibly go out to bid on this and get one law office.
There are law offices that do have that.
You can?
Yes, you can.
And also, you know, I'd like some criteria as to the qualifications, and if the law office messes up and gives us really bogus advice, that we dock that pay portion of it, which is something I will discuss at a further council meeting. But I'd like to see the breakdown before we do anything on this, to see exactly which departments are picking up the phone in an extraordinary amount, because I think we'd all be surprised.
Perhaps what we ought to do is table this one? I don't know.
I would like to
Council's
table this
decision.
one.
Counselor LaBranche?
I mean, basically, it is what it is. We have to allow a certain amount of funding for legal expenses. You're not going to make it any lower. I certainly would hope that you're not going to make it any higher. You know, so it would be my mindset to make a motion to accept this as presented by the town administrator for legal on this budget.
And knowing full well that if we go over budget on that 50,000,
You're going to find it.
well, usually what we've done, as the administrator has done, and the council has approved, is that we pull it from the end of the year from the general revenue surplus. That's how we cover it. So, that is a motion made by Counselor LaBranche?
I'll second it.
All right. If there's no,
But I do want that breakdown
Yep.
all right.
by next meeting, if we could.
Can you achieve that goal?
Yeah.
By the next meeting? Okay. Which is Wednesday, right?
Right.
Okay. No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Cox.
Aye.
Council Bergeron.
Aye.
Council Branch.
Aye.
Council Minuttelli. Aye. Council Carr.
Aye.
Chairman Glenn.
Aye. Well, here's one we should cut, right down to the bare bones, planning and zoning. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm in the audience. Okay, at this request, let's pull this up here. The request is for, department head request is $116,639. Recommended by the town administrator, $112,256. Off the top of your head, can you tell me what the biggest drop is of that right there? Some,
2,000 tax maps.
yeah. Big thing drop, huh?
So it's 4,000, 2,000 tax maps.
2,000 in training.
2,000 in
Is that
training.
where it is? It's in training?
Yeah, 2,000 training and 2,000, yeah.
Okay. So that's good. Okay, and in the training area, is that annual trip that you're,
Yes.
okay, that's where it's coming out of? Okay. Okay. And it's my understanding you concur with that?
She does,
No, I
okay.
don't think she concurs with that, but.
Well, she just said yes.
Oh.
She's supporting you. Counselor Quox.
Ms. Hardy, could I ask you a question?
You certainly may.
do you feel that those cuts in those two specific areas would inadvertently affect you being able to do your job?
I don't feel directly.
Okay.
I am a certified planner through the American Institute of Certified Planners. However, I can take courses online. We have a lot of video conferences that are, held in the state, that are national, that we can tap into. And also, there are conferences in Boston. And I understand that, these are fiscally hard times, so, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion then to accept the,
I had given everybody an email that we got from Stratford Regional, and they were reducing their cost to us this year. They're holding it the same, so it's a $405 reduction.
Okay.
So in the, on page 16, due subscription, it should be $8,355 with a
8355?
8355, correct.
Okay.
With a revised bottom line of 111,850, did I get that right? 856. 851, excuse me. Yeah.
So moved. Yep.
Second. Did you say that was a $405 decrease or $450?
A decrease of $405.
405, okay, thank you.
Okay. I would just like to caution the council that even though the department heads and managers are here in the audience, we're here to accept the recommendation of the town administrators. It is my understanding that when he presented this to us, he's already got their input, and he's got their buy-in, so there's no need to be calling department heads up to defend their budgets. At this point, we have no further discussion. A roll call on this one,
Do
please.
we need a second?
Oh, we did, she did second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Council Quox?
Aye.
Council Bergeron?
Aye.
Council LeBranch?
Aye.
Councilman Utelli? Aye. Council Carr?
Aye.
Chairman Whitten.
Aye. We did that as amended, right?
Yes.
Okay. Next one is Conservation Commission.
No, we didn't do that as amended, I don't think, did we?
Councilor LeBranch?
Once again, it is what it is, so I'll make a motion to recommend the town administrator's budget for Conservation Commission.
Second?
Okay, thank you. There's no one there that gets, this is strictly volunteer, right?
Correct.
Nobody gets paid, okay. Motion has been made, motion's been second. No further discussion. Roll call on the Conservation Commission's recommended budget by the administrator.
Council Quox?
Aye.
Council Bergeron?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Councilman Utelli? Aye. Council Carr?
Aye.
Chairman Whitten.
Aye. Okay, Economic Development. I would like to know, in the past, what has this money been used for?
Well, I don't know what it was used for prior to my arrival, but what we used it for this past year and for, to a small extent this year, is for the downtown. We provide the business, we paid the advertising for the different events that took place during the revitalization downtown, where, the other organizations had kicked in money. And I think, and part of what we'd like to do with it this year is, as we talked about earlier, the Wi-Fi, the wireless internet, so that people coming into the downtown can get on the web and do stuff, and working with the businesses. The business associations interested in it, the NCDC and the town sharing a partnership in bringing this in. We have a bid of about, I think it's about $6,700 to do it, and we'd be going to the banks downtown, and also we need to work with Fairpoint on that. But it's been successful in a few other communities, and it's just one of those, another piece that brings people into the downtown.
I I can see where you're going with that, but I certainly look at that as a luxury at this point. Councilor Quox?
Is NCDC putting any money into it? Or is it just?
We are discussing it right now. It'd be a joint partnership with a variety of different entities. Again, I talked to, as an example, in Nashua. The city of Nashua put money into it, but what they did is they went to the banks. I think it was it Citizens or TD Bank North kicked in quite a bit of money. Fairpoint, at the time it was Verizon, kicked in the greater majority of the funds, and they had a variety of different business organizations in town kicked in. So the town ended up paying a small amount into it, and that's what we're looking to do.
Is there an annual fee for this?
What you're doing is you're paying for the lines, and actually the way that Verizon worked it is that they gave the money to the community, and they said, we can't give you free lines, but we'll give you a sum of money from which you will pay us on a monthly basis the fee. So it was just a matter of the community and the town businesses purchasing the different connectors that you had to put up, and they're like $200 or $300 a pop, and within the area that would be connected. And we're talking about from the Eagles to Flora Venturas would be a wireless network. And just as a further little explanation, it's not such that a person can get rid of their own wireless network. They could do that, but the way the system would work is we could time it that it shuts, it goes down at a certain time, so people just can't get on. And also through the ability, I can't remember what the name of it was, we have the ability to go on and make changes so that people aren't using it in a way that's inappropriate. And it's also recommended that businesses not use it as a secure connection because it's not a secure connection.
I guess my concern here is we now have two entities working on an economic front, which is what the NCDC has been charged with. So I'm not sure why it's redundant for the taxpayers to do something where the NCDC has been charged. And yes, I do feel strongly that the businesses is going to enhance their businesses on their end. I have a concern. Let's go to Councilor LaBranche.
I'm taking a look at actuals, and I know that we did spend some funds on the downtown project this past summer, which we will not have to spend again, hopefully. So I guess at this point, I believe that would come under operating expense.
Correct.
I would like to decrease that by $2,000. $2,000.
Get rid of it.
I'll make it as a motion if someone so chooses. So a motion to decrease the operating expense to $2,000 instead of $4,000.
Second.
Discussion. Councilor Quox.
I don't see why the taxpayer should pay to have enhanced wireless internet just in the downtown area and not for every citizen in Newmarket. Why should the taxpayers pay for an enhancement to a downtown business when it's not townwide? That's being discriminatory, I believe. I just don't think that's fair.
It's not an enhancement to the downtown businesses. What it would do is it would provide people coming into town, and Doug Poulin just walked out. It would provide the opportunity for somebody coming into town. I mean, I don't know if anybody has gone in.
But you're saying it's going to be from there to there. That is all the businesses.
Correct.
Period. So
Correct.
it is an enhancement to the downtown businesses.
It's not an enhancement to them. Again, it's not recommended that they use it to process their, and Doug, can you talk a little bit more about the Wi-Fi?
Certainly.
The question was, that Councilor Quox was concerned about, that it's an enhancement to the downtown businesses. And I guess what I'd like for you to do is just give the council, less than a 5-minute overview of what the Wi-Fi would do for the community.
Yeah, I think if you look at what Portsmouth has done with it and what Dover's doing with it right now, there was another write-up in Friday's Foster's about Portsmouth. And well, I want to say more than anything else, it's a publicity generator. It gets your town in the paper and says you're keeping up with the times, you're ahead of the times, you're cutting edge. It's an attraction for people that look. When they look to locate to a town, that's a check mark for people. It's an extra plus for them to come to town. What you get in Portsmouth is towns won't use it because it's insecure. So if a business says, I'm going to use that to process my credit card payments, I'm going to cancel my Comcast line and my Verizon line for $60 a month, and I'm going to ride the free Wi-Fi. What happens is when they process that credit card information, it goes out as clear text. So anybody attached to that could sniff it, as they say, and actually get those credit card numbers right off of there. So no business is going to use this. It's completely insecure. You wouldn't have businesses canceling their dedicated line and riding on this. It wouldn't happen.
Can individual businesses set up for themselves only? In other words, let's just take Morelli's, because they don't have a place to sit. Can she do it there for herself only, and people can come in and use the Wi-Fi there, or does it have to be set up for multiple businesses?
She could set up one for herself, just for her business.
Right.
Not as part of what we're talking about. She could set up one just for herself. The way Dover's doing it as well is you have to enter in a code to attach to this. So you come into town and you want to jump on the free Wi-Fi. You say, where do I get this code? Any business in town. So it makes you go into the business, get the information. While you're in the business, the idea is clearly you're going to get a coffee or a muffin while you're there anyway. So it is a well-spent, to me, low-cost tourist attraction.
That's a luxury.
And on top of that is when the individual goes onto the webpage, okay, they call it up. There's a webpage that comes up, and it could be, welcome to the town of Newmarket, and here are the specials at Panzanella's or Mamalina's or Riverworks or whoever, okay? And they buy into that because they're paying a fee to have that put on there.
Who does? The businesses?
The businesses, okay? So you see that, and you might say, hey, geez, I really like that special here, so, I'm going to, when I finish my coffee and donuts here, I'm going to be in town, so I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to get whatever. And then from there, they can surf the web. They can do, can look at other things and stuff like that, see what attractions Newmarket has and stuff. So it's an enhancement. I mean, they can, I've been to Cracked Skulls many times, and there are people sitting in there, and they're reading the latest news, or they're surfing the web on, what houses are for sale and stuff like that. So it's one of those pieces that brings people into town and causes them to spend money in town. And it's a benefit. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it is a win-win situation. If we weren't heading into these economic times, I would feel different about that. But again, it's 4,000. Reduce it by 2,000. This is all adding up to a sum. Councilor Quox. Before I take her question, anybody else have a question that has not had a chance to speak?
One thing we heard when we saw these people is that what Nashua is doing is that they're now requiring the businesses to buy the equipment for their own establishment.
We would have to buy the equipment?
No, the business would buy it.
But with us, we have to buy it?
We'd have to establish a network.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they wanted to buy into the wireless, they would purchase the equipment, which would seamlessly enter into the network of the town established. So, I mean, that's certainly a way you could approach it. We could set up the network, the basic network. Any business that wanted to be part of it could buy the equipment and pay for the cost of the equipment.
So basically, what I'm hearing is perhaps before we approve this, we should have a policy in place before we attach any money to it, so we know specifically what we're attaching monies to. That's the logistics. And the other part of that, when you say the businesses purchase the equipment, if we're going to start at point A and end at point B, everything in between should be able to, if you go into these entities, should be able to hook onto Wi-Fi. So where does this equipment come in?
Each establishment has a transmitter in their place.
All right, so how many transmitters are we looking at?
I mean,
I think it's in 6 or 8 right now.
At a pop of how much?
About $300 each.
I guess I would rather see that cost, rather coming from the budget. coming from the NCDC and the Business Association.
And the money...
We work out the details of how it's going to be implemented and policy set up.
That's not in here. We're talking about, I would take a portion of this funds, but not, my goal was not to expend to create the Wi-Fi in Newmarket out of the town's budget. The town would contribute a portion of that, and that still needs to be worked out.
Right.
I mean, it was, from the meeting that both Doug and Dawn and I attended at the municipal conference, suddenly, I received a phone call from Jay Dougal, who had talked to the NCDC and say, this is a trend that's happening, we ought to start looking at it. So we brought the folks in and they made a presentation to us, and we're still in the talking stages on this regard, but, when we get to that point, it's a matter that we're going to go off and talk to, TD Bank North, we'll talk to Bank of America, kick them into it, we need to have conversation with the folks at Fairpoint, so.
So if we reduce this as recommended by Councilor Branch by $2,000, what happens if you need more than the $2,000? Are we just going to say, we'll cover the cost and take it out of the general fund? I guess I would be comfortable if the council should recommend that decrease of $2,000, sticking with the $2,000, that we say not to exceed that $2,000.
We'd hope that our cost isn't going to be $2,000.
Well,
I'm
right now, I'm not
looking
hearing
to
a
do
whole
that.
lot of particulars other than the concept. So, Councilor LaBranch.
Wouldn't, at the time that we would be establishing this network, wouldn't someone be coming to the council and discussing it
Yeah.
to us so that, at that point, we'd know what we've got into it, where our funds are coming from, and who's contributing what? So, I mean, if that's the case, and believe me, if it doesn't happen, I'll be the first one to remember it. So, at that point, I guess we are, in essence, covering the funds. We're making sure that we're not buying the whole process.
Correct.
But would you not agree that this is something, the technology is changing all the time, that this could be deferred until next year?
Especially with the mills going on.
And the mills haven't been totally developed.
Mr. Chairman, there's no reason why the council can't decide that when the time comes. But if we don't put the funds in there, and, we do want to do it, and we have come up with very good reasons to do it, then we can't, because we haven't allotted the funds for it. So, yeah, I would rather have it there. We've cut it in half.
Not yet.
Well, the motion is to cut it in half. I would much rather see us have the potential to do this and decide on it at a later date, when the time comes.
Councilor Quark, and then we're going to take over.
A few questions on it. If this was to come to be, I would like the council, just like I'm recommending the council set fees for everything else in town, that the dollar amount for the advertising on it should be set by the council. And a question, would the library be able to hook up to this?
Yes.
Would they be saving money on that? Are they paying separate for their hookup now?
Again, as Doug Poulin mentioned, they're not going to want to give up a secure network.
But do they have a secure? That was my question. They do.
The other thing
Okay.
is that under the Comcast agreement, they get free connection, so they're not going to want to give up anything.
And then what about all the residential units being put in at the mill? Would they all be eligible for this as well? Even though it's non-secure, if they just wanted to get up and Google something or whatever you do with computers?
Yeah, they would be able to do that,
So
yes.
they would have basically free computer.
Again, but we
all
could
those.
limit how long that they could be online. We could say that, you can't be online for more than 2 hours, and then the system shuts off and they have to
Would we
reboot
be
into
getting
it.
charged for anything over and above a certain amount? And there would be a limit that we wouldn't be getting equipment?
No.
Only the network fee only?
Yes.
Okay, I think
All
we're
right.
straying away.
Yeah, well,
from-
just, I want to know what we're going to get into if we
Yeah, I
vote on
do
it.
too. I wish I had known more about this, but hey. Councilor Bergeron.
Just a point, on the library in particular, I think the librarian mentioned that a lot of people use it for job searching, and in filling out online job applications, you'd give out a lot of personal information, which you wouldn't want to do.
All right, we have a motion on the table here to reduce that line item from 4,000 to 2,000.
On operating expense?
on operating side of that portion. And did somebody second that?
I did.
All right, it was second. So if there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Counsel Quox.
Aye.
Counsel Bergeron.
Aye.
Counsel LeBranch.
Aye.
Counsel Minutjelli.
Aye.
Counsel Carr.
Aye.
Chairman Glennon.
I'm going to vote in favor of it, but...
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly, yeah. So it passes. Now, we have to vote on that total amount, which is going to be $6,000, right? Do I have a motion to accept the economic development's recommendation by the town administrator from the $8,000 adjusted to the $6,000?
So moved.
Second.
If there's no discussion on that, we'll do a roll call.
Counsel Quox.
Aye.
Counsel Bergeron.
Aye.
Counsel LeBranch.
Aye.
Counsel Minutjelli. Counsel Carr.
Aye.
Chairman Glennon.
Aye. And we're going on to insurance. And I'm going to probably see Councilor LeBranch before he says it. This is more of a, nothing you can do about this one except to approve it, other than a question would be in my mind is property liability. Do we, where that's insurance, $65,000, do we go up to bid on this stuff?
No, again, we belong to the pool. We belong with the local government center, which
So
is a
that's where it
pool,
is. Okay.
and they put it all together.
Is that part of LGC?
Yep.
Okay. Good question. I'll entertain a motion to accept the recommended, wait a minute, I have, oh, it's $69,000, I said 65. $69,000 insurance coverage, property liability as recommended by the town administrator.
So moved.
Second.
Who's the carrier? And you said LGC.
Local
Right.
government center.
Okay, I wrote down that, now I just realized after I said it. Okay, no discussion, roll call, please.
I have a discussion.
Bob, you have
I
a question? Yep, go ahead.
I had asked the town administrator the other day some questions with the Recreation Department in regards to insurance on their fields. I noticed that the NYAA, their league folks carry their own separate insurance to the tune of a couple of $1,000s for some of them. And the rec department answered some questions, and I'm just concerned that it says on number 2, should all leagues carry insurance for over 35 leagues? To date, all the men's and women's leagues have a play-at-your-own-risk understanding. Is it an understanding, or are they signing a waiver? Because in my mind, if the NYAA is carrying extra insurance and all these leagues that are playing there aren't, with just an understanding, I want to make sure that we're covered with liability and we have the additional insurance to cover that.
The trust will always tell you the following. As long as you are maintaining your fields or your roads or whatever, and somebody comes along and they sprain their ankle on the field and there's not, a gopher hole there that you knew about but you didn't fill in,
Yep.
then it's their own responsibility. It's our responsibility to notify them of the claim, and then they come out and they investigate it and they say, nope, this is not your nickel, Newmarket, this is, the other person. So the individuals who are playing know that if they slide into second base and they break their ankle, that's not the town's fault. The town doesn't incur a liability to probably go on their own medical or homeowners or whatever.
Ours is more negligence.
Right.
Would we be, could we ask the insurance company if we should have them sign something as opposed to just an understanding, just to cover ourselves a little bit more?
Sure,
That would be
that's a
my
good
only
question.
concern. Okay, thanks.
Not a budgetary item, but that's
No.
okay.
Well,
Um,
might have to increase the budget to carry the extra insurance, or if we get sued.
Oh, they'll also tell you that anybody will sue you at any point in time.
Oh, yeah, very litigious.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Counsel Claus.
Aye.
Counsel Bergeron.
Aye.
Counsel LeBranch.
Aye.
Counsel Minutjelli. Aye. Counsel Carr.
Aye.
Chairman Glennon.
Aye. What time is lunch?
Noon.
Not until we're halfway done. Keep moving.
Okay. MIS, he already spoke, so we'll
Debt
just...
services.
Debt service.
Debt services? Oh, I was trying to... Oh, yes, I pushed that one back. Okay. Let's see, the request amount here is $237,800. Another one of those that I don't think we can,
Yes, we can.
we can.
Skip debt service.
Oh,
And we're on.
we're on it now.
We're on it now.
Counselor LaBranche,
Um,
hack away.
Mr. Winowski, is it my understanding that the $75,000 principal interest at the bottom of this was, had we taken out the bond on the DPW building, we can actually eliminate that with no consequences? We're in essence paying ourselves back?
Well, this would, where I put this in to see if we were going to go out into the bond market in probably December of this year to to get back those funds, and then this would have been used as probably an interest payment, one interest payment during the fiscal year 2010.
So we could
So we could eliminate the fund.
I would like
I
to
would
make
too.
a motion
I
to
would too.
eliminate the $75,000 principal interest line item.
Second.
New figure I have is 162,800, is that correct?
Correct.
We have a motion. Any further discussion? So the motion, I believe, is to, on the debt services, to eliminate the, well, actually, let's take a vote on that first. All right. Roll call on the decrease of the 75,000.
Council Quox?
Aye.
Council Bergeron?
Aye.
Council LaBranche?
Aye.
Council Minutелli?
Aye.
Council Carr?
Aye.
Chairman Glennon?
Aye. Now, let's
Mr.
take,
Chairman,
Yeah.
if I may, just as a future reference, when we're doing warrant articles, I would like to know if Mr. Winowski would perhaps draft up a warrant article that would do away with that request to go out to
To
bond on
rescind
the
it?
DPW building. Yes. Thank you.
so that request on the bonding has nothing to do, if I want to make clear to the public, of that $1.5 million line of credit on the commercial side. You have a question on that?
I understand what you're saying, Mike, but I'd have to check with bond counsel to see if they do rescind the vote authority.
Okay.
Whether it effectively rescinds our ability to go out for a short-term borrowing for that purpose, which is what they voted on. Remember, we had a special town meeting for that purpose?
Mhm.
I think if you rescind that, you might be rescinding your authority to go out to have a line of credit. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could just check into
We can
that
check- we can
before
look
we
at
get
it,
the
sure.
warrant articles sealed up.
75,000?
No, the dollar amount of the entire bond, 1.5.
1.5 million, was that the
1.6?
original? 1.6?
That's
1.6, and we were going out for $1.3 million.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you're going to check, just for clarification,
Yeah,
if we
I-
pull this.
Okay,
I think if you rescind that at a town meeting, you rescind your ability to go in for a line of credit.
Oh, we can't, no,
I
want to
think.
do that.
No, we don't
You
want to
can't
do that.
You need that
All right.
flexibility.
So we can, though, pull that from this budget
You can
process?
pull the money out.
Yeah, okay.
It's the other issue whether or not to have that warrant article to do that.
Okay.
Thank you, Don.
The big question I have here is, as part of the discussion, is if we pull that 75,000 out, and in the event something should happen, that we need to go desperately to get some funding. I don't know, I'm talking here something probably more in the line of catastrophic. You know, the tornado comes through and starts tearing things apart, and the town has a huge liability. We don't have any money to pull on.
A line of credit.
We have the line of credit, but when this, my understanding is this 75,000 would be paying the first portion of that interest.
If we were to get a bond,
If we-
if we got a bond for $1.3 million,
Yep.
so it would go back into our fund balance, to
Yep.
All at
then,
once.
yes,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have the money. But what you're talking about, there would be insurance that would come along,
Okay.
and hopefully all the other pieces
That's the
that
clarification I
state
needed,
and
because
everything
I was
else.
concerned about that.
And that bond is specific to the DPW building?
That's correct.
Okay.
That is
Can't use it
correct.
for anything
You
else.
also have the ability too, in an emergency situation, to go after your fund balance and use that.
Okay.
Okay.
With approvals through DRA
Yes.
Yes.
process.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Great.
So,
We eliminated that
We eliminated, and now we're voting on the entire
dollar amount.
dollar amount, $162,800 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Vote. Roll call, please.
Counselor Carr? Oops, I'm starting in a different direction today. Counselor Carr?
Aye.
Counselor Minutelli?
Aye.
Counselor Branch?
Aye.
Counselor Quox?
Aye.
Counselor Bergeron?
Aye.
Chairman Glennon?
Aye. Okay. MIS, missing in service.
I don't think you like that.
No, that wasn't meant to be derogatory. Let's see here. We have a requested budget. Oh, we have a memo in the back here too, actually. 7-9. Okay. A requested budget of $147,500. Let me just make sure I'm looking at the right
Are you
one.
looking at the wrong one?
Yeah, I am. I usually am.
263, right?
Yep.
Yep, 152, yep, you're correct. No, that's a, somewhat of a difference, isn't it? Okay, Councilor Bergeron?
I'd like to eliminate the $900 of the community support function. I believe that's the camera that looks at the river at the moment. Being pretty non-critical in my opinion at the moment.
What line, what page do you want?
Second
That's
page.
page 23.
23.
Under community support. I think it was the old downtown webcam that was
Oh,
just
okay, 'cause-
being mounted somewhere else at the moment.
Is that a motion?
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'd like to also make that a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion on that item? None? Roll call.
Counselor Quox?
Aye.
Counselor Bergeron?
Aye.
Counselor Branch?
Aye.
Counselor Minutelli?
Aye.
Counselor Carr?
Aye.
Chairman Glennon?
Aye. Councilor Quox?
Were we going to discuss the $14,000 for the police department server? Were we going to move that someplace else or get funding from another area for that?
Was that coming out of CIP? No, it was a budget, line item, budget item, right?
And does that have anything to do with the dispatch?
It's part of the police department.
Is it primarily for the dispatch operations?
No, I would say for the whole office.
I would say
right?
it's for the whole police department.
Yeah. Where are you seeing that? 14,000?
Under new
Last line.
equipment.
Over balances.
Yeah.
We discussed that last time, and I
Right.
thought we were going to move that around.
One of the things we talked about was, and Doug and I have had some conversation about it, is building in in the next CIP,
That's what it was.
where we have additional servers and when they're going to be
Yeah.
replaced, and start building in the money so that the next time it's going to come out of this, it's going to come out of the CIP as opposed to
Okay.
the budget. This is just a one-time hit that, because we
This
didn't
is
have
really-
enough, we don't have enough money in the CIP to address that.
Time for
Yes.
something down at the cemetery.
That was one of my concerns, of why it wasn't in the CIP, but now we're gonna stop allocating dollars in the
All
CIP
right.
for that. Okay. Let me see here. Are there any other questions on this? Did we take a vote on yours yet?
Yes, we did.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And the 7 personal computers are really necessary?
That's the one
I would say yes. Most of those are going to be the police department again. Police department has fairly old technology right now.
Age on that?
What's that?
Age? 5 years, 6 years?
5 years at least.
That's about the time, yeah.
And again, CIP-wise, it didn't meet the requirements of the CIP. It was something that we're putting in the budget, putting in CIP and taking it out, and that was one of the things that the CIP committee was very adamant about, is that if we're going to do that process, put it in the budget, you know.
On the, how many computers are you saying is?
7.
You're gonna do all 7 of them this year, so on the 7 that currently exist, where do those go?
Police department.
No, the old ones.
You're going to be replacing 7 old computers at the police department.
Yep.
I
What
understand
happens
that.
with the
What
computers
happens
that
to
are
the
taken out?
We've tried to give them away, to be honest.
Can we not put them in the school system at a elementary area?
Guarantee the school department will not take them.
They will not take
They're
them?
that old, and they're that slow. We've offered to put them at the recreation center.
Yeah.
They have what's called a click room, where they let people surf the web. They haven't expressed a great interest in that yet. But we will certainly look to
Leave the
offload
senior
those.
citizens, and they can,
I'll classify it as a senior citizen, I'll take one.
no, we don't give them
I
to.
know you don't.
Can you cannibalize those in any way?
You can, I mean, there are certain parts we can take out of them and reuse, but typically it's old, slow technology that's
You know what I
outlived
meant.
its lifespan.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Counselor Bergeron?
This is getting off the subject of the budget. Can we offer them to people even off the town website? And
Sure, certainly, we
you can
can.
cleanse them and just, if people want them, they can take them.
Well, I don't know
Because we
if
have to
we-
pay for disposal if we,
Yeah. I don't know if we can just give them away. I think probably have to charge like $1 or something for them.
well, whatever, a nominal fee.
We could look at that, certainly.
Okay.
All right.
Motion?
Put my name in right now.
What does it come to, Jim, with the one? with the
151363.
I'll make a motion to approve the MIS budget for 151363.
Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Okay. No further discussion? Roll call, please.
Council Cox?
Aye.
Council Bergeron?
Aye.
Council Branch?
Aye.
Councilman Utelli?
Aye.
Council Park?
Aye.
Chairman Bennett?
Aye. Channel 13?
I'll just stay up here for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh, there is a memo back here. Do we need to take a few minute break here? Well, actually, we're gonna go on to lunch, so. Rather than wait for the lunch to get here at 12 o'clock, let's break at 1:15 and come back at 1:15. By then, the people can go to the bathroom and do whatever they have to do and come back at 1:15. That makes
Sounds
sense
great.
to the council? Okay. Let's do this one here. This is Channel 13.
Can I ask a question about these?
Go ahead, Councilor Clark.
Last time we had the budget folks here, we had Forrest state that the school board was no longer going
Yeah.
to tape on, do you know about that, Jim?
I do not.
Okay, that they were not going to use Channel 13 and tape. They weren't going to pay for it.
They're not going to budget for it.
They're not
going-
gonna budget for
They're
it.
going to pay for it out of their general line item.
So they'll still be paying the town for, now will Chris be doing that?
No, they use their own person for taping. They use Chris occasionally, but
Okay.
they use Chris for special events, things of that. But I believe their regular scheduled meetings, they use a different person for.
It's a student, right?
I believe it's a student, yes.
All right, because I was concerned that if they weren't going to put that in their budget, then we would end up paying for Chris's hourly wage to tape the school budget, and they wouldn't be paying, so we're all set.
They have-
Okay, that was the question I had, thanks.
They're just, like you said, not a line item, but from the general.
Which is what we did for years, and we said, let's get that out of the general and create a special line item for it, so.
Councilor Bergeron?
I'd just like to make a motion to approve the Channel 13 budget as written.
Second.
We're keeping you up.
Hey,
Was that Councilman Minutelli?
yeah,
He's been yawning nonstop.
another country we heard from.
I like that. I second.
Okay. I do have a question on the salary, part-time, 15,000 going to, just make sure I got the right one, I'm looking at 18,000?
Correct.
$3,000 increase? Is that increase based on merit and so on, or is it increase based on increased hours?
We're seeing Chris doing a lot of little programs, you know, and coming in for different things. We also have people who are requesting DVDs to be burned and things, so he does that. So it's there's part of it is an increase in wages, and part of it is just an increase in time.
So how many hours is he working now? Average?
30, he does about 30, he does 25, anywhere from 25 to 30 a week.
Okay, and what do we consider full-time, part-time for benefits?
37 and a half hours.
37 and a half, so he's not there yet
No.
for benefits.
We
Okay.
have a ways to go.
Okay. And I guess I'm going to answer my next question, which is, I was looking to see where general supplies is, but I see you have $500 in there?
Correct.
Okay, because I was wondering where we were getting these DVDs to burn them and all the other stuff. Okay. Counselor Quark?
With the Channel 13 Veterans taping, is there any money left from the last budget sequence of taping?
Yes, and I've had a conversation with the chairwoman of that and indicated that, you know, we've been carrying that over.
Yeah.
And there is money here, and that the money that we've been carrying over has got to stop. We just can't doing that. So what we're trying to do is get a better handle on that. We're going to probably carry maybe $2,000 to do into this for the continuation of their program in the next fiscal year, but then it ceases, and they're going to have to get a real good handle and tell us what that cost is going to be for what that taping is going to be.
Well,
We've been
like-
carrying in the pay, if you recall, I think it was $6,000.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, so, but what's happened is, you know, part of Chris's time, Chris was coming in and he was doing the taping. And then he would, you know, do maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours of taping, and it would take him about 4 to 5 hours to do it. And he wasn't charging the folks for that. So we entered into an agreement that's similar to, like with Erica here. Erica comes in, she takes the minutes, and then there's transcription time to get the minutes all set up for what she's billing for. So that's what we've been working with Chris, and it's begun to work a little bit better. There's been an increase in the cost, but, so that's what I'm saying is that we're going to carry a couple $1,000 in an encumbrance with $1,000 here, and then we'll have a better handle as to their ongoing costs for veterans taping, and that's what it represents.
And all the work that Chris does comes out of this line item for the
Yes.
veterans?
Yep.
Right. Thank you. Oh, and how much money do we make in the DVD revenues?
I don't know how much we've collected at
It's
this
been
point.
going into miscellaneous income, so, and Doug and I had talked about that, maybe tracking that a little bit better next year.
I think so.
We do have a policy and a form that, so
I
if you
just saw
want
the
that,
invoice, $20,
we can
yeah.
fill it up and,
Okay.
That was a cost set by the administrator, which I should caution you. I believe I've had comments from a number of counselors that any cost
Price setting.
price setting should be set by the council as a form of some type of resolution.
I
So,
want to attend to that.
you know, I understand where you're coming from, because I was adamant that we need to get some revenues coming in on these DVDs. I think with the exception of counselors and perhaps board members of various committees, they get them as part of their fiduciary responsibility if they need it. But the public in general should be paying for these. And then that policy should be approved by the council also on this. Not part of this budget, but I brought it up anyways. Councilor Bergeron.
Well, Doug, I see Channel 13's had some problems lately. I don't see a particular line item for equipment breakdowns or maintenance. How do you pay for that?
There is a line item for equipment, and typically we'll pull from that if we need to. And we had one equipment failure, I believe, 2 weeks ago, and it turned out to be a Comcast issue. So we don't pay for that. Part of our franchise agreement is they maintain the so-called head-end equipment downstairs. So they come in and they fix that. So we don't need to budget.
I understand. I
that
thought that was
portion.
ours. Okay.
Let's go back to that comment about, we had a problem a couple of weeks ago, and there was a Comcast problem. I had Comcast at my house, resetting up everything internally, and it happened to be the guy that was here, and I asked that question, what was going on with Comcast? Why did it, take so long? He made it very clear that the problem was internally here.
I'm unaware of that discussion. We
Okay.
called them, and they came shortly after we called them.
Because it was like a 3-day thing.
I'm unaware of that again. I don't know.
Well, it happened on a Friday, for one thing.
Yeah, well, Comcast is 24/7.
No,
so-
I know, but,
Yeah.
but the offices were closed.
Well, there's a contact person, they should be able to come in and do it, but that's not my point. My point was, they were blaming you guys, so. All right, we have a motion to accept, by the way, folks, I want you to look very carefully at the Channel 13 miscellaneous equipment. there's a cost in there for a new field camera of $2,500. I don't know if anybody saw that.
Yep.
I'm not opposed to it, I just want you to know that it's there. That's a large ticket item. And what is that really going to do?
That's a large ticket item for a request that the Channel 13 committee has made, and that is to have Chris stop using his personal equipment. And
Absolutely.
so we said, let's take this from the franchise fees and
Right.
and buy a town-owned piece of equipment.
Good, okay, go ahead.
And does our insurance cover that, our equipment in his vehicle, an umbrella type of insurance?
Yes.
He
If he's
works for the
traveling.
town.
Okay, super.
So long as you're working for the town on
Yep.
town
Right.
duty, yeah, you're
Good.
covered, yep. All right, so I'm not sure where we are. Do we have a motion on this, Channel? Oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
I'll make a motion
All right,
if we don't
please
have
do.
one. Make a motion to accept the recommended budget from the town administrator for Channel 13 at $26,500.
Don't anyone second it? We already have a
Yeah,
motion.
we already have a
Oh,
motion.
we already had one?
But I know you like making motions.
Okay, I didn't remember,
Is that the one that
remember it was
Councilman
the-
Kelly?
it was
Oh,
the
that's
non-
right. Oh, yeah, how could we forget that one?
I'm sorry.
How soon we forget them, huh?
Yes, okay.
He gets
Roll
twice
call.
his budget.
Roll call.
Aye.
Council Quark.
Aye.
Council Bergeron.
Aye.
No, I'll skip LaBranch. Council Minutелli.
Aye.
Council Carr.
Aye.
Council LaBranch.
Aye.
Chairman Glennon.
Aye. All right, let's take a break until 1 hour.
I just want to make sure my numbers might be matching up with where the finance director's at this point. Do you have a running total of what we're down?
335,085.
Thank you very much.
3:30.
5,085.
Good.
I only have to hit one time. One hit when I get it.
I just have to go home and make some phone calls.
Are you guys really working? Is it
I'd use my phone, but it doesn't get